Howdy, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to this place right here. And taking a look at some McFarlane figures. So I haven't bought McFarlane figures in quite some time. Quite a few of them break on me if I futz around with them too much. I love the detail on them, but they can be a little fragile. And I had seen these at Walmart a couple of times and passed on them over and over again. I do love Adam West as Batman. I think Adam West is one of the people that makes me believe there's a heaven, because I just can't imagine that a guy that good can just stop existing. So Adam, wherever you are, love you, miss you. And I don't actually have any Adam West Batman merchandise anywhere, and it's something that I really wanted to have a little piece of the '66 Batman somewhere in the collection, but nothing ever came along that seemed to fit quite right. I'm not really a big Mego collector. There's been a couple of other '66 Batman style figures. Nothing just seemed right until I saw this a few weeks after these figures initially showed up. The Batmobile showed up, and that's what clinched it for me. It's all plastic. It's got no electronics, which makes it extremely affordable. It's basically the cost of two figures, or what most figures cost these days. Two figures. And then I did pick up the Batcave as well, because it's a place to park the Batmobile. So big reason I wanted to get this one is it just reminds me so much of some of the vehicles you might see in the background there. There's a big plastic Ertl A-Team van, and there's a plastic Coyote hidden in behind there. So I thought this big plastic 80s Ertl style vehicle would look great, kind of completing the quartet of big plastic vehicles. And this is my favorite of the vintage plastic vehicles, the original Kenner Knight Rider. And I thought these two, I can't wait to open this up and get it out of the box, but I was hoping that they would be the exact same size and same kind of look, same feel, Ertl vintage look, and I was right. Just not even open this yet. These are gonna look perfect together. And I was also thinking that this vintage Kenner Michael Knight was gonna be the exact same size, and it looks like he is exact same size. I'll measure these two once I get them out of the package, but let's open up Batman and Robin right now. Give you a look at the back of Robin's packaging before I open it up. Picture of the Batcave and the Batmobile. These sculpts are actually so good that they can use just a picture of the figure and make you think that that's actually Burt Ward. And I thought this was a picture of Adam West. Actually, it's not. It's a picture of the figure. That's really incredible. And here's some good news. I dropped him while I was opening him up, and he didn't break, so at least he can take a fall on carpet. But that's actually surprising to me. I expected something to break off even falling on carpet. I don't think I bent one of the horns. I think they're just kind of like that. I didn't want to futz with them off camera, because if I'm gonna break them, I'm gonna do this on camera. Looks like the knees are a little too far forward. Yeah, that's fine. It's kind of ratchet joints. That feels fine. And it's kind of gummy plastic, actually. This is way better than the old McFarlane figures that I remember. So if you're a little hesitant to pick these up because of McFarlane or NECA fragility issues, it's actually not too bad. So as far as articulation goes, the hips, there aren't ball joints, and maybe that's a great thing, because I just want him to sit in the Batmobile, really, and there might be more chance for breaking if he had more range in his hips. It does look like he has a waist twist, a little bit of one, and the shoulders are great, actually. That'll be nice in the Batmobile for gripping the steering wheel. I like that one of the fists is an actual fist, so you can use the gimmick that's included. If you remember these little pop-up balloons on the old show, you can actually pop those on there. And I don't have the Joker yet, but I've got a couple of other Jokers. Some classic villains that you can set up and have the gosh darn Batman dispense justice, Robin. And the signs can go either way. Pop this one, go on the other way if you want to punching the other way. Take this, you big cad. I guess one of the reasons I enjoyed the Tick so much when it came out in the 90s is because the Tick is basically this guy. He uses the same lingo, justice, cad, villains, egad. I just love how old-fashioned and classy the Bright Knight is. He stands pretty well, giving this table a little wobble, giving him a bit of a poke. And you can make the feet a little more flat, but he's stable enough. And a 360, the cape material is really nice. It's kind of like a shiny satin. The reason I went with this one in particular, there were 4 of them, and it had the best paint job of all 4. So if you're going to pick one of these up, just give it a quick look and make sure you're getting a nice paint job on the belt, on the bat symbol, and on the face, particularly the eyes. Of the other 3 figures that were at the store, the eyes were really, really bad. They were all looking, 2 of them were looking way too far to one side, and it didn't look like he was looking to the side, it just looked like bad paint application on the eyes. The one that was looking forward had like half of the bat symbol printed fully. So half of it was black and the other half was kind of like, you could see the dotting of the printing process, and half of it was kind of gray, dotted gray. So this is the only one that from that particular store had a decent paint job everywhere. You can see a little bit of missing paint there on the belt. The paint on the belt is kind of rough. It's kind of goopy looking. It's not very smooth.
Holy complications indeed, Robin.
So that's the Batman figure. And I'm going to pop open the Robin figure next. And here's the Boy Wonder, Dick Grayson. He's got a couple of different punching sound effects, bam and wham. Same thing as Batman, he's got one arm that is closed up in a fist. This one is a little more tight, but it's working, but that doesn't feel very smooth. Elbow bend, fist twist, and same articulation as Batman. He's got this part of his clothing though that's hanging down. It doesn't get in his way, but it does bunch up. So if you're gonna have him sitting in the Batmobile for a while, that's probably going to cause some kind of a crease in there. That's too bad. And there's like another joint here in his leg, but I think it's just, is it glued? Glued in there? I don't know if it's a sculpted crease. That's kind of weird. And the head sculpt, it's a little luckier with the Robin head sculpts. Most of them were perfect. It's got a little bit of head articulation, basically just left and right. Not much up and down. He's kind of looking down permanently. And I forgot to cover the Batman head articulation. Oh, that's great, actually. It's not all one piece, the cowl. So kind of the same thing, sort of a slight looking down look. Can't really look up. And good old Robin has the same type of soft goods material, shiny satin, really beautiful. Catches the light perfectly. That's stunning. So much nicer than just a vinyl cape. And you can attach these either to his fist or to his foot for when he's kicking some tuchus.
Yes, you all.
And a 360 of the Boy Wonder.
Holy
Chutzpah.
Some younger fans might be wondering what the heck is going on with his outfit. It's a classic case of, I guess you had to be there. It's still, I guess, kind of weird watching some of the old episodes, and I mean, the Batman outfit is not as cool as some of the newer leather armored iterations, but the 66 show is just so charming and so campy that you either go with it or you don't, and I've always went with it.
We all know how this quizzical criminal operates. He deliberately leaves clues to confound us.
And before I crack it open, here's a 360 look at the box for the Batmobile.
To the Batmobile!
And here's the 66 Batmobile. And it is so awesome to finally own one of these. I've never had one of these. Not a little Matchbox or any other toy line. There was one I almost bought some years back. I think it was a Mattel. It was a G.I. Joe sized one. 1/18 scale Batmobile. And I almost got it, but it just wasn't the right one. I wanted something that went a little better with more vintage looking stuff. And I think it looks absolutely perfect with the Kenner Knight Rider. They're basically the exact same length, and this guy really likes to roll around too. Exact same width. It would have been cool if this one had some electronics, but that would have caused the price to go up. Kit still has his original electronics. That motor needs a little work though. You know, there's probably going to be third-party stuff like a turbine that you can stick in there, flames shooting out of there. Yeah, it would have been cool to see maybe a flashing light on there, but cannot complain. This thing feels like a vintage plastic Ertl vehicle, and what's really, really impressive to me, the Kenner Knight Rider, the Hardcastle McCormick plastic Coyote, the plastic A-Team van, I'll bring those out in a sec. None of them had rubber tires. These are rubber tires. I thought that was a lost art, but you've got some rubber tires on all four of these. That's a really, really nice touch. And things seem to get so easily broken these days, and I'm starting to really appreciate this type of thing. Bendy plastic. These are bendy too. This is bendy too. That's really important actually for the steering wheel to be bendy, because this is something that is broken on so many vintage vehicles, whether they're Ertl or G.I. Joe or whatever. And it's got a shifter inside too that's kind of bendy. But this could have been clear plastic. Clear red plastic would have been nice, because it's just solid, which makes it look as cheap as it is. This is a really affordable Batmobile that looks a lot more expensive than it actually is, except for, I think that part kind of gives it away. And if you touch that part kind of. And some paint detailing on the front too. Look how gorgeous that is. This is what I really love about collectibles. Stuff that you've grown up on, seen thousands of times. You get to actually hold it in your hand and examine it. You see details you never realized have been there right from the beginning. Not much paint application on it other than the stripes on it and the bat symbol. Got lucky with the bat symbols on this one. They look fantastic. And even little bat symbols on the wheels. That's really cool. Underneath, and I'm going to pop the figures in just a second, but before I do, side-by-side comparison of Batman and let's pop Robin on the other side of the vintage Kenner Michael Knight. And it's interesting that this is really the big popular scale these days. I remember when this originally came out, I didn't have it as a kid. I remember thinking, what a strange scale. He's not G.I. Joe scaled, like 3 3/4, or Star Wars figure scaled. He's not 12-inch scaled. He's not Mego scaled. 6-inch. It's just such a weird scale, and he was all by himself. And fast forward some decades later, and now he fits in perfectly with all of the 6-inch figures. Well, let's see how these figures fit in the Batmobile. It would have been nice if he could hold the steering wheel and hold the shifter. Maybe you could have him hold the steering wheel with his hand, and Robin can... Well, no, Robin can't shift either because of his fist hand. Anyway, maybe I'm overthinking this. Wiggle him in there. Hey, that's easy. Perfect. So the cape, because it's the satiny material, you can either tuck it in behind, but I think it's so cool that you can actually... Oh, that's awesome. You can stick it up there so it doesn't get pinched and wrinkled, and you can have it blowing around in the wind if you want. And a little warning for you. If you're trying to straighten his hand out to grab the steering wheel, I see a stress mark right there. That's not good. This is a really bendy material, but that is a stress mark that looks like it's close to breaking off. Well, that's unfortunate. I was just opening the hand up to get it around the steering wheel, and there you go. It's not as bendy as it seems. And got Batman all situated in there. I kind of like the look of having the fist hand just on the side of the door there. And Boy Wonder easily slips in there as well. Yeah, these guys fit perfectly. It's really nice to see, since really the only reason I bought the figures was because I wanted them in the Batmobile. So same deal on the other side. Just kind of had, you know, two guys riding around in their sweet sports car. Tons of room. It's very nice that they're not really crowded in there. Lots of options for how you want to fit these guys in there. Really easy to pull them out, put them back into. Same deal with Robin. You can either have his cape in behind him, or you can have it flying in the breeze in behind. Let me grab a couple of other vintage Ertl big plastic things as well. This giant Ertl A-Team van should have went with the Galoob. I think they were about 5-inch Galoob figures, but they made the seats inside too small. Made them the size as for G.I. Joes. So it's way, way oversized for G.I. Joes, but it's about the, whoa, same size as the 6-inch scale. And then finally another Ertl plastic vehicle that's really messed up in scale. It's scaled for a figure this size, but again the seats inside are sized for G.I. Joe figures. I don't know why Ertl kept doing that, but they made these really oversized vehicles for G.I. Joes. But Coyote next to the Batmobile, they look perfect. And that's exactly what I was going for. Something that is new, but it looks like it should have come out in '83 by the Ertl Toy Company. And it'll look fantastic on display right alongside these other vintage plastic Ertl vehicles. Don't get me wrong, I love die-cast metal, but there's just something so charming about these big plastic vehicles that can take a good shot. And the last comparison is with the Knight Rider with Michael Knight in it. And I wonder if there's cross compatibility with the drivers. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Awesome. Michael Knight looks pretty cool in the Batmobile. I'm sure the Hoff appreciates all the headroom since he was squished into that Trans Am all those years. But Batman and Robin in the Knight Rider just looks perfect. They fit great. Robin is a little shorter than Batman, so he's got tons of headroom. Batman just barely fits. His head is just slightly hitting the roof, but he still looks fantastic in there. And thanks to all the range in his arms, he can easily hold on to the steering wheel, which moves around, and he can also grab the shifter, get close to it. It actually looks a lot cooler than I thought it would. Batman and Robin in the Knight Rider. Always remember, 3 men can make a difference as long as they're driving supercars. I think I'll call it a day for this review and save the Bat Cave for another time. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. Feel free to share some Batman 66 memories in the comment section below. I want to take a second to thank all the members of the Patreon tribe. Thanks guys and gals so much for supporting what I do. And if Patreon isn't your thing, the other way you can support the channel is by clicking the join button to become a member of the channel panel, which will unlock some custom emojis that you can use in comments, and you also get access to sneak peek pics and some other channel member only postings on the community wall. Feel free to share, and if you love justice, hit subscribe. Nerdmas Day.